What a finish here at FedEx Field. Welcome into Command Center Postgame Live, and what a scene as preseason game number 2 for the Commanders comes to an end, and that Ravens preseason streak of 25 consecutive wins into preseason is over. Washington wins it 29-28. Welcome to Command Center Postgame Live. I'm Michael Jenkins alongside the Cowboy Killer, Santana Moss. We will get to Ron Rivera and the players as they get to the podium here at FedEx Field after what was pretty damn good for a preseason game, Tana.
Hey, they brought it to prime time. They said we're going to put these guys on Monday Night Football. It's the battle of the Beltway. Us against our cousins. Yep. Who was cooking tonight? Who was eating off of who plate tonight? That's how this game is always played. It was a great game. I told you before, didn't matter what unit was in, whether it was the 1s, the 2s, or the 3s, I wanted to see productive football. These guys gave us just that.
They certainly did, and I saw you slowly, as the game went on, get more and more excited because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's preseason. Guys are fighting for their jobs, and this is a competition. Guys are either getting their money, leaving money on the table, and this was an impressive win.
See, one of the things people fail to realize about these preseason games, you're playing for other teams as well.
Yeah.
You know, it might not be a spot here for you, but the plays you make tonight, the plays you make throughout this preseason, the practices you put on tape, other teams will get a chance to see this, and then you might have a chance to have a spot on their team. So it was a lot of guys that stood out, especially on that last drive. Hats off to Jake Fromm, hats off to Kashmir Allen, hats off to Joey for kicking that thing through.
Yeah.
A lot of guys stepped up and gave this team what we needed. Just something just to feel good about. I know it's a preseason.
Sure.
Man, just to see these fans celebrate the way they did, man, you couldn't tell me it was a preseason game. They packed the house, both sides, Baltimore, D.C., they came out here to see some good football.
And they got a game that went down to the very end of the game. Now, again, we're going to go to see head coach Ron Rivera. We'll hear from Sam Howell. Any player they bring to the podium, we'll certainly bring it to you here at Command Center Postgame Live. But Santana, and there are a lot of things to be happy about tonight. So what's just one thing that stood out to you? I mean, I can see the smile on your face, man.
It's the energy, man. I'm all about energy. I'm an energy person.
Yeah.
If you ever see me in a room and I'm not saying nothing, the energy is bad.
Yes.
Tonight, the energy was great, man. It's just something new. It's something different. And I played here for a long time. And I'm going to say this now, and trust me, I'm going to say this again throughout the season. Something feels different, and I love it. I've been a player for a long time, and I remember just coming into this stadium almost feeling deflated already before we even started to play. Something about what's going on, man, now. I don't know what it is. I can't put my hand on it, but it just feels different.
It's funny you said that. I took a quick break during the game. I came back, and as I was in the concourse, I had a couple fans stop me and say, doesn't it just feel different out here? And just the fact that this is mainly third stringers at the end of the game fighting for a win meant something.
It was a regular season atmosphere.
Yes.
I mean, I walked through the stadium. I was going to another gig that I had throughout the game, and I'm sitting there telling a friend of mine, I'm like, bro, is this a regular season game? Like, the fans was here. They packed the house. We saw them tailgate. That was tailgating before 1 o'clock. Some of the fans was calling. I was listening to, you know, JP and B. Mitch's show, and I'm hearing these guys saying, hey, I'm pulling up at the stadium right now. So, I'm ready for a good show. But that just go to show what it does to everyone's morale. Like, it's just that time of the year that everyone just look forward to having these type of games.
It's that brings everyone together. So, we're going to talk about Sam Howell. He was brilliant in the first half with the starters, most of the first team offense playing the first and second quarters. But who are some guys that stood out to you?
I mean, look, we was talking about MVPs, and I'm not sure we at that part of the night yet, but that last drive, you got to get hats off to our third quarterback, you know, and most teams keep 3 quarterbacks, you know. We're going to need a guy on the scout team to back up the scout team guy that's going to be Brissett, which is not a scout team guy. He's going to be a guy that's getting second team reps. But Jake Fromm, you know, he came in and made that drive what it was. He caught Kashmir Allen a couple of times. He caught Tinsley a couple of times. Look, Tinsley, I see the potential. I understand you had a few drops, but trust me, brother, I see the potential. You're a young kid. Don't let that get to you. He's going to make some plays in the future, all because of what he did tonight. Some of them plays that he didn't make tonight is going to make him a better player. But look, man, these guys went out there and look, backs to the wall. This Ravens team come in here with this record, over 20-something wins.
Ridiculous.
And let's be real. What we heard this week, throughout the week, the Commanders dominated these guys in practice. But this team came out here and said, oh, no, not too fast. You know, this is a preseason. This is where it matters the most. And they came out here and played some good football. But like I told you earlier, I wanted to see no matter what group was on the field, whether it was the ones, twos, or the threes, play some football. And these guys did just that. These guys are being coached differently, and I love it. I love what I'm seeing.
The energy's here, and the performances were here as well. I believe Sam Howell is at the podium here at FedEx Field. Let's go there live. Oh, he's not there? Okay, he's not there yet. We're waiting for Sam Howell. But let's go to his highlights and what we saw tonight here during his performance. I mean, in the first half, Tana, again, I don't want to get too excited. It's the preseason, but he was super accurate, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, didn't turn over the football. That quick game was working.
He was poised.
Yes,
he was poised in the pocket, very confident in his delivery. The things that he saw was a couple of guys missed some passes of his, and that's just, you know, that's going to happen. You know, that's football. But I love what I saw. Like I said before, you know, I want to see Sam progressively get better each and every week. And what I saw last year from the preseason, from a guy who didn't play at all in the regular season, then to be thrown into that last, you know, regular season game, you don't get that from a guy who doesn't have potential or who's not going to have something or be special. And so now to see that carry over into the preseason now, we watched him in practice. You watched him in the first preseason game. He catapulted off of that first preseason game and brought it to the second preseason game and showed he's even more confident, man. He's sitting out there. He's reading things. He knows when to use his feet, and he delivers the ball on time. That's what I love the most about Sam, man. Bright future for him.
One thing that is interesting to me when you watch Sam Howell is if he makes a bad play, he's going to make bad plays this season. We know what's going to happen. Sometimes if you're a young quarterback, those can sort of snowball, right? It's one bad play after another. Sam, at least so far, hasn't shown that. He recovers really well.
You can't dwell. That's one of the things I've learned as a kid, man. And me and Fred Smoot talk about this a lot because he played to me one of the most crucial positions on the field, the cornerback position. And I used to ask Fred all the time, like, Fred, you have to have a strong mind because, man, when you get beat,
especially a corner,
you got to come back out there. And Fred's literally, if Fred gave up a play, he comes back talking more smack. And he almost gets you out of your game. But as a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, it's easy to sit there and hear what's going on and hear what's being said and kind of get down in the slumps when you're not playing well. But you see this guy, man. I'm not saying he's at that point now where he had a game where people can talk badly about him, but he's just slowly progressing, man. And I'm big on, if you draft a guy, it's his time. If we say that that's our draft pick, it's his time to be potentially the starter. Give him that shot. We so caught up in these days where you bring in these guys, whether they're 5 blue chips or 5-star athletes from high school going into college, and they have a great college career, and then we say, okay, now it's time for them to be great pro football quarterbacks. It's not like that all the time. Sometimes you have to draft guys and develop guys. And Sam, one of those guys, we saw the potential in his junior year when he had all those guys. Those guys left in the senior. He still put up great numbers. Let's give him his chance. Let's give him his due. I think it's his opportunity this year, and I think he's going to shine.
It is Command Center Postgame Live. Santana Moss, Michael Jenkins. We are waiting on the head coach, Ron Rivera, and hopefully Sam Howell as well at the podium after that fantastic evening tonight. You can see the live look right now, and there is the head coach. Ron Rivera is there, and let's take a listen.
His toe was, there was an x-ray, it was negative. And so, you know, they're just going to treat it day by day.
What did you think of Sam?
I thought Sam did exactly what we were hoping him, expecting him to do. Went out, executed, took control of the offense, took control of the huddle, did a good job at the line of scrimmage. You know, there are a couple things I know that he does want to have back, but I thought he executed and handled the situation, circumstances the way he needed to.
Was that 2-minute drill at the end of the half? Was that a good test for him?
Absolutely. That was one of the things that we were hoping to get, you know, and finish it off that way.
A lot of the time the praise for Sam is his poise and just being very even keel. How have you seen him bring that, particularly now being the starter in such a big game like that?
Well, I thought he handled that extremely well. I did. You know, there's a lot of pressure, obviously, and we know how important the quarterback position is in the league and how important it is, you know, in this area. You know, that we've been looking for one, and I think we have an opportunity to have a guy that has a chance to be a really good football player for us.
Is there a sequence for him that kind of stood out for you?
Gosh, I mean, there were a lot of good things that he did, a lot of situations that he handled. You know, a couple of 3rd and longs, he threw the ball really well, made good decisions on that, was able to move around, buy some time. I thought he, you know, I thought he was really good in the 2-minute drill. So there's a lot of things, a lot of positives, a lot of pluses.
Obviously, like, this is a preseason game, but to see Joey make a kick like that,
Yep.
what does that mean?
Well, you know, Joey's had a really good camp this year. He really has. He had a tremendous camp, and it kind of, you know, expedited the decision as far as, you know, letting Mike go, You know, he did a great job for us, but Joey was having such a good camp and was building such good confidence out there. You know, this is a big deal for us.
What did you think of Quan, especially after the first preseason game?
I think he learned from last week. I think the biggest thing more than anything else was he put himself in position to make a play, and he did it. You know, there's a lot of things that we can be better at as a team, and I know he knows he can be better too. So, you know, as we go through this, we're going to grow and we're going to learn from this.
How much can that turnover and run back help the offense put them in plus field position?
Oh, it's a really good thing. It's a huge plus, a huge positive, because you know you get to in a position where you know you don't have to go 80 yards. I mean, the ball would have been on the 20, so being able to get it out past midfield, that was big.
How did you think the offensive line did?
I thought they were solid. They were stout. It's interesting. I was talking to Sam, and we were talking about how things went. And first thing he told me, he said, "Those 2 sacks were on me, Coach." He said, "I got to make a quicker decision. I got to get rid of the ball better." So he understands just what needs to be done. But I thought the offensive line handled it pretty well. I think they're still growing. They're still working together, and I think they're going to get better.
Coach, after that first sack, the ability for Sam Howell to come back to that 16-yard route to Colter, can you kind of talk about, I guess, the value of having a young quarterback that could do that so quickly?
Well, I think pretty much any quarterback could do that. It just in that situation, I thought he handled it very well. He kept himself alive. He gave his receiver an opportunity to get open, and he found him.
Even though it's preseason, do you think Sam performing like that on kind of a national stage, Monday Night Football, does that do anything for his confidence?
Oh, I believe so. And let's don't forget what he did last year. I thought how he handled the stage last year against Dallas was one of the reasons. We feel confident in who he is. And then we saw him perform today. We saw him perform last week. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, but again, we still got a long way to go. We got a lot of things to learn and grow and develop. I think Eric and what the offensive staff is doing on that side of the ball has been really terrific. It's exciting. It really is. And I think it's infectious because I do think it impacts our defensive players as well.
And I imagine, it's a chance for, I guess, the national audience to know him as well. Because that you is kind of an unknown guy for Sam. More people knowing his game.
Well, I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't. Whether they know who he is or don't. I mean, Sam's going to be the same guy, and that's one of the pluses about who he is.
What did you see from your young receivers on the last drive?
I saw some real grit. A lot of guys are competing, and they know it. I mean, it's a good group. This is one of those positions that you feel really good about the back half. You just know that these are a bunch of young guys that are competing, and they want to go out and they're trying to make this team, and they're scrappers, they're fighters. They're a good group of young guys.
What went into the decision to rest most of the defensive starters?
Well, a couple things, but we decided we feel really good about where we are. We got some guys that we wanted to be careful with, and that was the biggest decision on the defensive side, just because of the familiarity they have with what they're doing, and we just thought we'd do that.
And then leaving the linebacker.
Because both of them are new to what we're doing. They're new to each other, and they got to get a little bit more work together. And Jack felt this would be a really good opportunity for them to work together and talk and communicate. I think that was probably one of the biggest things, and having those 2 out there working together was really the intention there more than anything else.
Take 3 more. Your backup defensive ends, coordinated pass rush, or what do you see in that kind of aspect?
I'd like to see it be a little bit more coordinated because we had some guys that really got up and got up to the edge, but when we bent it, we didn't retreat or retrace. And because we didn't, the quarterback was able to escape a couple of times. They got to have a better feel for when they get to the level is countering or retracing and coming back downhill. And if we had done that a couple of times, those young guys would have had sacks.
Jack talked about starting fast in the first 2 preseason games. The defense hasn't. I know it's preseason. What's your level of concern there?
No, I don't have any concern. I really don't. I mean, I do know that we're working on it. We'll continue to work on it, and once we get into the regular season, we'll see how it goes.
Your thoughts on Emmanuel Forbes and his tackling ability in the first 2 games?
I believe me, it's the same stuff we saw on college tape. I mean, that's one of the things that he is fearless. He doesn't he'll throw his body around, and he does a nice job with it.
Does it mean anything to you that you ended that streak?
I mean, it's good to win. That's probably the biggest thing. I mean, winning begets winning. I know it's the preseason, and a lot's going to be made of it. I'm just happy for our guys that we won.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate
Cool.
it.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have Sam Howell, Jahan Dotson.
The head coach, Ron Rivera, after a 29-28 Washington win tonight. When we come back, we will continue to hear from the team, including your favorite players, as we go back to the podium. It is right here on Command Center Postgame Live. We are back in 2 minutes.
Have fun, sis.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
In-play betting, because a lot can happen in 4 quarters. You can wager on the spread, game props, player props, totals, and the money line. Bet365 is the world's favorite sports book for many reasons, and play betting is just one of them.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
And Mom and Dad?
Don't worry, they'll be there.
Happy anniversary!
Go beyond the expected with the #1 most dependable mass market brand 3 years in a row by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
One bag.
The winter play was really coming together. Until disaster struck. Tensions were high. Luckily, replacement costumes were shipped with FedEx, which means Mr. Harvey could picture the perfect night. We're ready for the holidays, so you're ready for what's next.
Dad, we're gonna be late.
Can't stop adding stuff to your cart? Get the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. Choose the online shopping category and earn 3% cash back.
And welcome back to Command Center Postgame Live. Sam Howell, what can you say about his performance? Played the first 2 quarters of this game, threw a touchdown pass to Antonio Gibson and De'Ami Brown, his old teammate at North Carolina. 188 yards passing for Howell on the night. 2 touchdowns, no picks. He really was as good as you can look for a quarterback, especially a quarterback this young, Tanner.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. I mean, you know, when you play in these preseason games, sometimes you can't really, I guess you could say, judge his performance because of the competition he was going up against. Because a lot of those guys didn't play as well on the opposite side too, while those guys was in there. But one of the things I'm always judging is just playing football. You know what I mean?
Right, just playing the game.
I care less. That means though, if I put the worst potential player in front of me to play me, and I don't go out there and do well, that guy's going to go home and say, I locked Santana Moss up. So regardless of who's out there, those guys play well, and I think Sam did that. He handled his business. He didn't care who was out there. He went out there and effectively moved the ball up and down the field. Like I said before, a couple of guys missed a few of his passes, but when he made them count, and he got 2 touchdowns out of it.
He does a great job of spreading the football around. It's easy to lock in on one guy or another, but he really made sure everyone, if you could get involved, he got you involved.
I mean, you have to like really be excited just to see what we have in a young guy. You know, I harp on this a lot because I understand what this organization been through when it comes to quarterbacks. So many in so many years. I mean, every year we go through 4 or 5, and just to see this guy, maturation, and just see how far he came in, only 2 seasons. He not even haven't had a full second year yet, and you could just see the growth. So I'm just excited, man, knowing the talent that's around him. As long as them guys up front protect him, I'm pretty sure EB's going to have a great game plan, each and every week. But Sam is the guy, man. He's the guy of the future, and I know he feels it because I can see it in his play.
Yeah. How much do you think EB's offensive scheme is helping Sam? Because clearly they have to work in unison for the offense to work efficiently, and it just feels like that this is a match made for each other.
Well, when first thing people talk about is Patrick Mahomes, and can't compare no one to Patrick Mahomes. But Sam has some of the same intangibles. He got the escapability outside of getting out the pocket like Patrick. Patrick, to me, I think has rare when it comes. He's very rare when it comes to how he delivers the ball. Whether he can do it from his opposite hand or his throwing hand, But when you look at some of the things that Sam has already displayed in his short career, he's shown you that this offense could be very, what I can say,
very dynamic.
Bingo, especially with some of the things that he can do well. Like I say, with his feet on the ground and in the air, his ball is humming out of his hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you see he can be accurate and he can get that ball to you quickly, as a receiver, that's what you want. You want a guy that can be able to see me and get me the ball right now, because we have a short window of getting open, and I saw a lot of those throws tonight.
One of the things the coaches have said during training camp is we like the way his footwork is improving. Sam Howell, we saw that tonight. He is at the podium.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I think the main thing was just a lot of fun, and it was a good team win. I think we're really starting to become a team, and there was a lot of good things out there tonight. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. I just think offensively, I think we did some good things, put some good drives together. Obviously, there's some stuff to clean up, some sacks. Both, I don't know how many sacks we had, maybe 2, I think, and they were both my fault. So I got to do a better job with that stuff. We'll clean it up, but we made some plays. A lot of guys made some plays, and we got good work out of 2-minute drill, which was successful for us. There's a lot of good that came out of tonight.
On that, talk about the sacks. First one, was it just a matter of, did you see someone you trust something, or what happened there that caused it?
Yeah, it was just early in the game. I just need to relax, and I was kind of just trying to make a play and trying to do too much. But especially in that position early in the game, just be smart, get the ball out of my hands, and don't take a big loss like that.
Then the next play, one of the strengths of your game seems to be to get a play, move on. When you hit that, you walk through that scene.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we do a good job of with the guys we got is, when something goes bad, it's all about the next play, and we can do everything. Obviously, the sack was bad. It was my fault, but I knew we had another opportunity in the next play, so I tried to do everything I could to, make up for it.
What did you make of the 2-minute drill?
Yeah, it was good. We had a lot of plays. Guys were kind of tired, so it was good to see guys push through that. And just to get the, we do a lot of 2-minute drills in practice, but to get one in the preseason against a different opponent, and to go down there and get 7 instead of 3 was big for us. Yeah, we do 2-minute a lot. That's one thing with EB. Like, the first thing we install every time we start installing is 2-minute. We put a lot of focus on our 2-minute drill, and EB cares about it a lot because he says all the time, like, that's where in the NFL, that's where a lot of games are won or lost. So we put a lot of focus into it, and that showed. Yeah, it was a cool experience. First time I had done a joint practice, so it was cool to go there for 2 days and get some work against a different opponent, a really good opponent. They do a really good job on both sides of the ball. So that was good. And then to translating that into the game and kind of knowing some of the stuff they do just by practicing against them and trying to go out there and go out here tonight and have a plan for the stuff they do. So it was a good challenge for us as an offense to go out there and try to execute. Yeah, I think every year is a new team. You got to find little things to come together, and I think we've done a good job of that so far. But tonight was just so much fun to be a part of. Guys were excited, guys were cheering for each other, no matter what group was out there. Like the third group came in and had a 2-minute drill to win the game, and Joe made the kick, and it was just so much fun to be a part of. And guys are really starting to bond. You know what I'm saying? And you can just kind of feel the team growing.
They're talking about the streak all day and all that. But he said he kind of jokingly said it's the biggest preseason win in history because of that streak. Did you get some enjoyment out of that, even it's a preseason game?
Yeah, obviously, it is the preseason. But really, every time we step on the field, we want to put a good showing. We want to win the game. Obviously everyone's going to get a chance to play. All the groups are going to get a chance to play. So it's really not a real game. But at the same time, you want whatever team you're on, you want to win. Especially knowing what they had on the other side with their little streak. When we had our third group in, and that last 2-minute drive, they were running cover 0 every single play, and we were trying to take shots down the field. So it was so much fun to watch and be a part of.
Sam, you've had receptions to I think 7 different guys. What does that do for you as a quarterback to have that, and how important is it to be able to spread the ball around?
Yeah, we have so many weapons, and we have, and you said 7 guys, but we have 20 guys Obviously, probably can't keep them all, but we have so many guys that can make plays with the ball when they get their chance. Really all I try to do is just try to get the ball out of my hands as quickly as possible, and give those guys a chance to do what they do best. And I'm just so blessed with the talent I have around me for sure.
Sam, during the telecast, Troy Aikman talked about his initial preseason experience and how he kind of got the mind frame was almost too easy, and then he started off his career 0-11 as a starter. What's something that you can do to kind of help prevent yourself from falling into the same pitfall?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality of it is, it really doesn't mean anything. It's what we did some good things on offense tonight, but there's a lot of stuff we can clean up. So as long as we go back and focus on the negative things and just try to keep getting better, and don't worry about any success. We had some good drives, we scored a couple touchdowns, but at the end of the day, it's all about what can we do better, how can we get better as an offense, and I think if we keep that mindset, we'll be all right.
Take 3 more. Most preseason games by the fourth quarter, the starters are sitting on the bench, but it looked like everybody was kind of into it the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so much fun to be a part of, like I said, and we have a great locker room, and all the guys get along. Everyone wants to see the guy next to him play well, and I think it's just a credit to that, and just a credit to the culture that we have in our locker room. Yeah, I think just early in the game, like that sack, I don't even know how long I held the ball for back there, but just throw it away, and just try to settle down early in the game and avoid plays like that.
Is it a mental thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a boneheaded play, and it's not something that happens a lot, but I just got to do a better job of avoiding it.
It's possible you're done for the preseason. How much do you feel like you've grown this camp preseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've grown a lot. I'm way more comfortable in the offense, and just getting these 2 experiences with the EB. It's our first time going through a game together, and I think getting the 2-minute drill experience tonight was critical for us. So there's definitely a lot of good that can come out of this. So I'm pleased with how it went.
With that 2-minute, is there anything in particular you take away from that tonight that you learned throughout that process tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did some good things. I just think we kind of put ourselves in some tough situations throughout that drive, so I want to do a better job of trying to stay ahead of the chains. I think we had a false start, or maybe 2 penalties on that drive, if I remember correctly, but just do a better job of staying ahead of the chains, and because 2-minute drill's hard. Like, it's hard to go down there and get points, and if you have penalties, it makes it a lot harder.
All right, thanks, Sam.
Appreciate it, guys.
Sam Howell, after his 188-yard performance tonight here at FedEx Field in a Washington win. You saw that Tar Heels T-shirt he's wearing. He hooked up with De'Ami Brown tonight. He also hooked up with Antonio Gibson. So we talked about Howell spreading the ball around, but you can see sometimes it's hard to tangibly see a quarterback's confidence growing, but you really can see it, Tim.
I mean, you saw it throughout the whole this training camp. I mean, every week this guy's spinning the ball. I remember a few times me and Logan and Fred was out there, doing our on the field segment, and you could just really see these guys in routes on air or one-on-one drills. He's spinning the football, and it's great to have a guy that you're familiar with in De'Ami Brown. That's why I think he's going to be key to De'Ami Brown maturation as well. The 3rd year for him is going to be one of those years that's going to make everybody believe it. It's like, this is why, Washington drafted this kid. So I'm looking forward to it because, like I said before, as long as we protect him, he has the weapons. So we can't say nothing. Let him do what he do and get those guys to football, and the rest should be history.
We are waiting on Jahan Dotson to take the podium. He was fantastic. We talk about De'Ami Brown. Scary Terry got his, and thank you, baby Jesus, that he's okay. Went out with a toe injury. He's going to be okay. But Jahan Dotson in particular was very, very special in this one for a preseason game.
It's a preseason game, but I count them all. I told you, for 14 years, 13 of those 14 years, I played in every preseason game. I mean, I might not have played in that last game, the game that none of the starters, normally play in, but I played the majority of the preseason, and it's great to see your guys that you're going to count on throughout the season go out there and be productive. Look, I took pride in coming out here and preparing myself week in and week out, building my confidence up. I used to tell myself, hey, I need 1 catch this game. It's a preseason game. Next preseason game, I need 2 catches. And 9 times out of 10, I might have done more, but I'm just psychologically telling myself I need 1 or 2 plays just to get myself in that regular season mode. And to see Jahan Dotson pick up where he left off from last year, man, it's going to be scary. We're talking about Scary Terry. It's going to be Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson. Both is going to be a nightmare for some of these defensive backs. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do in the regular season. I know they still have a couple of more, weeks of preparation, but it's great to see them come out with a victory and to put good stuff on tape. I pride myself in putting good film together, and these guys have been going out here for the past 2 weeks, and including the preseason reps and practice, putting good stuff on tape.
Man, depth at receiver is a huge positive for this team. If Jahan Dotson, if he plays like this, if he's your number 2, I mean, think about that for a second.
Oh, my God. I've been thinking about it week in and week out. I'm telling folks, go ahead and go in and double-team Terry. You know, this double-team Terry, I want him to, I dare you to double-team Terry. Because if you don't, then he's going to beat you. But if you do, Jahan is going to beat you, and everybody else we have is going to beat you. So, look, we have a problem. We have a lot of problems, and that's why it's so vital and so important for our guys up front to know what we have at stake. Protect our quarterback, and we should be putting up some big numbers.
And we got to give credit to that O-line, too, because, yeah, Sam Howell faced pressure at times, but he had a lot of time as well, and we want to see that O-line come together.
A lot of time. I mean, we've been talking about it week in and week out. This team we kind of restructured our offensive line. It seemed like we've been one of those teams that have musical chairs when it comes to the offensive line position as well, because so many of these guys are interchangeable. They can play multi-positions, and just to see now we have depth there also. We had, I believe, two of our tackles out tonight, and those guys still went out there and played well. Chris Paul has been a guy that has been, we've been raving about throughout the whole camp. And some of the other guys, we know Sadiq Charles. I mean, he's one of those guys that can be potentially a starter. He is a starter, but Chris Paul has been getting most of those reps.
He can get to that next level.
Bingo. So we just want to see all these guys mature, man, and understand what's at stake. That's one of the biggest things about being a pro. We don't, when you playing a kid's game, because this football is a child sport.
Right.
It's one of those sports that keep you young forever. But a lot of these guys come out of college and don't know how important it is to kind of click that switch on and say, hey, I'm a professional now. This is my job. This is my livelihood.
Guys are trying to feed their families.
This is my livelihood. So a lot of these guys still, sitting here and saying, hey, if I'm Nick, I might not go today because I'm still protected with my contract. Because that wherever they slotted me at, that's going to give me enough protection or cushion to know that I'm not going to get traded because they owe me too much money. You know what I mean? But they have to understand, man, there's other guys that's out there that takes pride in this job too and take pride in their job, and they want him. They want your job. So I was always told, man, when I was young, and it happened to me earlier, you don't make the club in the tub. So if you on that bench in that training room getting treatment, get off it fast because there's other guys want your job.
We are waiting for Jahan Dotson at the podium after his performance tonight in a win against the Baltimore Ravens, 29-28. How much of that professionalism, when you talk about this being a job, how much of that is contagious? Because when you see other guys acting a certain way, that absolutely translates to those younger guys.
It definitely rubs off on guys. Look, I was one of those guys, I didn't speak a lot about what we need to do. I've always led by example, and I took pride in leading by example. I remember Stan Hickson when I got here in 05, and being a guy that just paid a lot of money, I came into a room with David Patton and James Thrash. To me, two guys that I've watched a lot of football, watched them play a lot of football, and I kind of took the back seat to them because I respect my elders. I'm one of those kind of guys. That's where I come from. That's my upbringing. That's how I'm wired. And I remember James Thrash saying, nah, bro, you the guy. And then David Patton reiterated, look here, Tanner, you the guy. The way you go, we go. And I kid you not, I took heed to that, and I went out there and I practiced knowing that I was the guy. But I've always been one of those guys that had, that kind of mindset with practice. But just to know that these older guys accept me of being the leader, I didn't want to let them down. So I'm glad that you got guys out there on our team now that's going to lead by example like Terry. He don't get vocal, but when he has to, he speaks well, you know what I mean? But he's always showing up when it's time to show up because he's leading by example.
And we will get to the defense as well. We're talking offense right now because we're waiting on Jahan Dotson here on Commanders Postgame Live. Santana Moss, Michael Jenkins. I want to go back to the offense and the set of weapons. Antonio Gibson is an interesting guy because back in college, he caught a lot of passes. Now, he ran early in his career, but now it feels like they're working him back out in the flat and making him a little bit more of a receiver, and he's really dangerous in that role.
The first thing I saw in Antonio, and I know, how this can make you feel, I saw how lean he looked when he came into training camp. And that just raised my eyebrows. I say, he's primed to go out there and put up some big numbers this year because someone told him, I don't know who it was, I don't know if he told himself, maybe it been himself. Someone said, I need you to lose some weight. I need you to get in better shape. I don't know who told him that, but I've been that guy. I've been in them shoes before, and I remember being 200-something pounds and still have one of my better years, catching over 90-something, passes that year and having over 1,100-something yards. And I was so big, and I did it, and I was like, well, damn, I could be this big and still get off.
Right.
I don't need to worry about my weight. But I knew I did. I knew I was holding myself back from really being even better. And I remember Mike Shanahan gave me that call in the offseason. He was like, hey, he just told me like a man, as to a man, hey, you don't be in the 190s, you're not going to make the team. And I love that. I appreciate that. So fast forward to get back to what we was talking about, what AG can do for this offense in the right shape like he is right now, he's primed to go out there and put up some big numbers. And I think one of the things that we can use him well in outside that backfield. We don't necessarily need him between the tackles because you have a guy in B. Rob that can do that. But outside that, outside the pocket, out there in the passing game, catching the ball out of the backfield, he could do some big things for this offense, and he can be a great mixed match to some of these linebackers out here that's going to have to be facing one-on-one up here with him.
Well, let's check out today's Air Power presented by the Air National Guard, proud partner of the Washington Commanders. This franchise always doing a great job of supporting our armed forces, and we got to show it off here. We were just talking about it. Sam Howell looking and finding De'Ami Brown, his old teammate at North Carolina, for a touchdown in the second quarter, giving the Commanders offense a 17-14 lead at the half. Of course, they go on to win this game 29-28. De'Ami Brown, if you're just judging from a guy who, if you look at his mannerisms, he caught a lot of passes as the game went on. He was getting more vocal. So this is a third-year guy. If he could step up, that would be huge for this offense.
No, that's great, man, because, a year ago, I remember being that guy that said that I want to see more from the kid because I thought highly of him. And I played this game, so I know how that can get under some of these players' skin because it got under my skin a couple of times when I heard guys not speak well of me. But I'm hoping that he knew that, look, I meant no harm. I'm just trying to motivate him to know that I see the potential and I want him to be better. And he's rose to the challenge. I'm not sure if it's because he heard us talking about him, but I saw him progressively getting better, and that's what you want to see. I know every man can't come out here out of college and be that player that they was drafted to be out the gate. It doesn't happen like that for everybody. Some guys need to develop a little more, and he's one of those guys, and you can see it right now. I don't know what he did this offseason, but he went home and said, I got to get in the lab, and he did just that, and you can see it in the preseason. I mean, in the training camp practices from out the first 9 practices, we couldn't stop saying his name. The man made catch after catch after catch, and that stuff trickles over to the field, and that's what you're seeing tonight.
Well, it's time to talk some Commanders defense. We're going to do that when we come back. A 29-28 victory for the Commanders tonight in preseason game number 2. It is Command Center Postgame Live. We are coming back in 2 minutes. Stay right there.
You're going to like this story because it's about you. You who forgot to charge your phone last night. You who sprints to the boarding line so your bag will fit. You with him. Until one day you boarded a United plane that was designed for, well, you. And your phone got charged, your bag fit. So did everyone else's, but this story isn't about them. Your toddler didn't tantrum and you got to fly happily ever after. The end.
Hey, it's me, food. I'm so much more than just what we eat. I'm hand-cut, fresh and frosted. I love it. Aw, I love you too. See, life is always something new. All messy, frantic, and amazing. And from where I sit, you look delicious. That's why every day is worth celebrating. If you can. Stay fresh. Sincerely, food. Sincerely, Safeway.
Hey, big man. Oh, hey. Dave told me you got some kind of great system for betting that really works.
It's true.
What is it? Is it like home dogs? No. It's bird mascots.
No, I just use FanDuel's responsible gaming tools like time and spending limits to manage my play.
That's the system.
Hasn't failed me yet.
Cool. You know what, man? I'm just gonna keep this between you and me.
It's not a secret, Bob.
Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours. It's more fun that way.
The design is stunning. The power, breathtaking. Turbocharged to chase down dreams. With an instant top prize of $50,000. And a second chance top prize of $150,000. More than enough to buy a real Corvette. The new 2023 Corvette Cash Scratch-Off from the Maryland Lottery. Take it for a ride.
Welcome back, and let's get to some of the highlights we saw tonight at FedEx Field. Early on, Emmanuel Forbes showing what he can do, a fantastic open field tackle. Then Quan Martin, how about this interception in the end zone, picking off Josh Johnson, and then after juggling it, pulling it in, returning it 59 yards to put Washington in great field position. This is a guy who struggled a little bit in game one, got it done tonight. Later on, James Smith-Williams. D-line, the starters did not play. Smith-Williams does. Makes back-to-back tackles, showing off what he can do. So that's one of the strengths of this team, that defensive line. And we've talked about the offense as well. With of town, presented by La Chemin du Roi Champagne and Branson Cognac, the official champagne and cognac of the Washington Commanders. And you know, we're going to go with the QB1, Sam Howell. Why not? 19 of 25, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Did a nice job with his feet as well, rushing for 17 yards on the ground. More than deserving of being crowned toast of the town. So before we switch to defense for a second, what's your final, I guess if you had to tie a bow on the offense, what's the one big takeaway?
I think the one big takeaway, they moved the ball. You would like to hold on to the ball a little bit, so I'm pretty sure the young fella, Rodriguez, he's going to be probably kicking himself in the you-know-what tonight, just thinking about that, because he's young and he's trying to make the squad and want to be on that 53-man roster. But more than anything, moving the ball and just you can see the chemistry there. I mean, like I said before, you can't judge them too much, but at the same time, they play football. Their guys went out there and drove the ball down the field on our guys, so whoever's in front of you, you got to beat them. It don't matter if he's 1, 2, or 3. And I think our offense did just that. They moved the ball, they was productive, and they punched it in when it counted. That's one of the things that Sam has been doing. Sam has been showing you guys what he does. He scored touchdowns. He put up points. So that's something that I look forward to seeing a lot more of, because since he's gotten the opportunity to play here, even in the preseason last year, he was productive by going down, moving the ball downfield, and putting the ball in the play dirt. And that's what you want.
Well, we are getting closer and closer, inching closer to the regular season, and we want to make sure you guys help pack the stands here at FedEx Field. Help get the stadium rocking for the team's opening. It's the Cardinals on Sunday, September 10th at 1 p.m. You can get your tickets right now at commanders.com/tickets. Do not go anywhere. When we come back, yes, we are going to address the defense. Quan Martin, that defensive line, and a really gutsy performance by this team to rally and get the win here at FedEx Field. That is next on Command Center Postgame Live. Stay right there.
Pizza, better with Pepsi. SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Summer won't last forever, but during Toyota's national sales event, you can make memories that will.
Come on. There you go.
Whoa.
Where's my mom? Just be in the moment.
Buy a RAV4 with special financing as low as 3.99%. Or pick a spacious Highlander with as low as 3.49% on select models. Toyota, let's go places.
Football is back, and that means touchdown for toppings at Paisanos. When the Washington Commanders score, you score all season long. The day after the game, get free toppings for every touchdown the Commanders score. If they score 3 touchdowns, you get 3 free toppings. It's that simple. So let's all support the Burgundy and Gold, because more touchdowns equals more toppings. And who doesn't love free toppings? View this and more online at paisanospizza.com.
Dude, fire.
Grill master, huh?
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Welcome back. Sam Howell playing 2 quarters, not the first half of the game. 2 touchdowns on the evening, 1 to Antonio Gibson fighting his way into the end zone, and 1 to his old college teammate De'Ami Brown as Washington gets a 29-28 victory. And since the team scored 3 touchdowns, you know what that means? You got to visit your local Paisanos later on today because it's past midnight, and you will get 3 free toppings all day long. Santana, let me ask you about Juan Martin, and bring in the Paisano. Thank you. We got to have some pizza here. It's late. We got to bring it in. Look at that. You got to answer one question.
You really want to ask me a question right now?
I got to ask you real quick. A guy who needed a good performance tonight got it, Juan Martin.
Make sure I don't put no flies in here first.
No. You got this. Let me move this over. Get your pizza, man.
We're gonna have to indulge in that. Juan Martin. No, honestly, it's great to see the young guys. Period. Whether you're on offense or the defensive side, make plays. It only builds your morale, your confidence up. I think Juan was one of those guys that we watched last week. Some of the plays he gave up, and you saw instantly this week he made some corrections. So to get a play like that in the preseason, your first preseason as a rookie, your second preseason game, but as a rookie to have those kind of opportunities come your way, that builds your confidence to the roof. I mean, to see how Forrest played and now Quan has stepped into the challenge, I'm sure those guys are watching each other and saying, look, man, I got to bring it to the, I got to bring my game to the table, because if this guy's going to make plays, I got to be the same, be on the same level. So it's great to see him go out there and make plays. That pick was huge. That's something that our defense has been showing already in the preseason, getting our hands on the ball. So that's big things for our defense. Looking forward to it.
Before we grab that pizza, what are you looking forward to on Saturday against the Bengals?
Well, I want to see these guys who's on the bubble. Some of these guys who's just trying to say, hey, you know what, whether it's here or somewhere else, let their name be recognized, But at the same time, let's go out there with a winning effort. Always pride ourselves on, no matter what group is up there, play productive, efficient football. And so I'm pretty sure every coach is going to be reiterating that to their individual rooms. Look, let's go out here and be professionals, alignment, assignment, do our jobs, and put up some points. And who knows what may happen, how the crooked may come. But if you're not here, you might be somewhere else if you put good film on, put good stuff on tape.
Well, it may be late, but the content never stops. We're going to have a brand new Command Center for you on Wednesday. Then join us again on X, Facebook, and YouTube for pre- and post-game coverage beginning at 5 o'clock on Saturday with the final game of the preseason for the Commanders against the Cincinnati Bengals. That is Santana Moss. I'm Michael Jenkins. Thanks for being with us, and have a great night.
Peace of time.